Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackel. It's political season, and this week we start what will be a series of our Commitment 2021 Hot Seat debates. We started doing these 4 years ago with the big municipal races in the city of New Orleans, and we are doing them again. Every city council seat, all 7, they're up for grabs, as well as the mayor's office, the sheriff, and other positions in the city of New Orleans. We are starting tonight with New Orleans City Council District A. It is a big, unique district stretching all the way from the lakefront through parts of Carrollton Avenue, all the way uptown. 3 people have qualified to run. One of those people, incumbent Democrat Joe Giarrusso. We should point out, Councilman Giarrusso has declined our invitation to participate tonight. So therefore, 2 challengers are both here. Amy Misko, a Libertarian from the New Orleans area, and Bob Morrell, a Democrat also from New Orleans. Thank you all both for being here. Ms. Misko, we start with you. You have 1 minute to make an opening statement to let candidates know why you feel you're the best choice for them.
Good evening. This is Amy Misko. I am running for City Council District A. My platform is basically 21st century solutions for our 21st century problems. I am very concerned that in my district, there are many people who are being unfairly and overtaxed. We have had 3 tax increases throughout my district in the last 3 years since Mayor Cantrell took office. And quite frankly, we think that these are arbitrary. They are not applying a millage rate that is consistent. And I believe this has to change. My other concerns are quality of life and safety. I believe our police department needs to we need to invest in our police department. We need to recruit new candidates. We need to have attractive salaries for these people to come to our city. Maybe relocation bonuses will be necessary.
We're at 1 minute, Miss. No, we're at 1 minute, Ms. Misko. We're going to get to a lot in this debate. Thank you. Mr. Morrell, you have 1 minute to make a opening statement.
Thank you, Travers. You know, this October we have a choice: a continuation of the last 4 years under Councilmember Giarrusso, or a change towards sustainability and justice. Now, this choice we have will be framed within 4 more years of the pandemic and hopefully our recovery, as well as increasing heat and flooding. Now, what I lack in faith in our current leadership, I make up for in hope about what our city can become. Not a return to the status quo, but moving towards a more equitable city for all of us. You know, we aren't tourists that are on vacation. We're people that live here, work here, and send our kids to school here. So we need an economy and a government that prioritizes people over profits, whether we're talking about COVID restrictions, short-term rentals, or even your energy bill. Now, my grassroots campaign is centered around justice and equity, and my priorities are housing justice, racial and economic justice, workers' rights, ecological justice, and flipping the budget towards care over harm. And I want to fight for a habitable and prosperous New Orleans for our children and their kids too.
All right, you're at 1 minute. Thank you very much. We're going to start this question with you. Obviously, we're in a 4th surge of the pandemic right now. Mr. Morrell, you have 30 seconds to answer this. Do you support the mask restrictions currently in place in Orleans Parish and in the state of Louisiana? You have 30 seconds.
Yes, absolutely. I feel that it's a very strong force of mitigating the spread of communal spread. So yeah, I believe indoors, and I wear it indoors as well as in certain group settings outdoors as well.
Ms. Misko, same question in 30 seconds. Do you support the mask restrictions that are in place, not only in Orleans Parish, but statewide in 30 seconds?
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
All right, good. I love it. 1 word answer. Ms. Misko, we're going to start this question with you. 30 seconds again. Should vaccine passports become the norm in the city of New Orleans? That's where a restaurant, a bar, a business would require proof of a vaccine or a negative test to get in. I see you shaking your head. You have 30 seconds, Ms. Misko.
I believe that this is discriminatory. It discriminates against people who may not be able to take the vaccine because they have underlying health conditions like cancer. So I don't believe this is a good tactic. Absolutely not. It's a violation of many of our civil liberties.
All right, Mr. Morrell, same question in 30 seconds. Do you believe in vaccine passports in the city of New Orleans?
Yes, and to counter what Amy is talking about, if you're unable to get the vaccine, a negative test can and should be available to you for free of charge. So yes, I believe that proof of vaccination or proof of negative test within the last couple of days is vital. Yes.
All right, Mr. Morrell, we're going to start this question with you. It's an issue that's gripping residents in District A from Uptown to Lakeview, crime in the city of New Orleans. In 1 minute, if elected to the council, what is your plan to combat crime, especially car thefts and car break-ins in District A? Mr. Morrell, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. So police and prison spending has increased as a proportion of our budget every year since the Landrieu administration. And yet we have not seen any significant change to the crime rate. You know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And police and jails do not prevent crime, they react to it. So if we want to prevent crime, we need to address material conditions that drive people to commit crimes in the first place by eliminating poverty, reducing the cost of living, and expanding mental health and substance abuse care. And we can't do that while the majority of our city budget is spent on surveilling, arresting, and caging people, disproportionately people of color. So we need to flip the budget to care over harm. Now, people across the district that I've talked to, they're not talking about cops getting pay raises before teachers, firefighters, or sanitation workers. They're talking about fixing our streets and lowering utility bills. So we need to work smarter and stop trying to force a square peg through a round hole. And if we want to make work easier for our police, we need to redistribute duties of NOPD to non-police agencies that are better equipped to handle it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Misko, same question, 1 minute. Crime is gripping District A. If elected, in 1 minute, what is your plan for crime, especially car break-ins and car thefts that are happening in District A?
I think the most important thing that we can provide for our citizens here in New Orleans is safety and police presence in our neighborhoods. I don't think that we have enough officers. I think that we need to recruit new officers to replace those who have retired in the last years. And I also think that we need to stop playing cops and robbers with the federal government, and we should end the war on drugs here in New Orleans by decriminalizing victimless crimes, drug possession, drug paraphernalia possession, and get our police officers in our neighborhoods protecting us instead.
All right, Ms. Misko, let's stick with the crime topic. This is a 30-second one. We're going to start with you. Talk about the consent decree. Does the city need to end that for the betterment of the NOPD? You have 30 seconds to answer that question.
No, I don't think we should end it.
All right, Mr. Morrell, 30 seconds. The consent decree is in place. Does the city need to end that for the betterment of the NOPD and the city in 30 seconds?
No, I feel that they need to actually meet the requirements that are made by the federal consent decree, both for NOPD as well as with the sheriff's department.
All right, let's talk another topic here. It's a big talker in your district, District A, redistricting. It's going to come up later this fall. A lot of people who live on the lakeside of Robert E. Lee, who were traditionally in District A, West Lakeshore, East Lakeshore, Lake Vista, those neighborhoods near Mount Carmel High School, for people who may not be familiar, they're now in District D. We'll start this question with you, Mr. Morrell, in 30 seconds. Does that part of the city need to be put back into District A? 30 seconds.
Yeah, sure. I honestly think it should be community driven when we're talking about redistribution. My whole platform is about bottom up driven government. So if that's what the community feels that is more representative to them and it's a fair redistrict, then I don't see any problem with that.
All right, Ms. Misko, same question. Those areas on the lakeside of Robert E. Lee that were traditionally for decades in District A that are now in District D, in 30 seconds, should they go back to District A? What are your thoughts on that in 30 seconds?
I think they absolutely should be returned back to where they were originally, because the gerrymandering of our election districts has been going on for way too long, and it's way too unfair to the voters. I am in favor of the voters having more choices.
All right, here's a quick question. We'll start with you, Ms. Misko. Give Mayor LaToya Cantrell, who is seeking re-election, who is, based on polling, a heavy favorite to win re-election, give her a letter grade as if you were a teacher. A, B, C, D, or F?
She fails.
All right. How about you, Mr. Morrell? If you're a teacher,
Mayor LaToya Cantrell.
you can give Mayor LaToya Cantrell a letter grade, A, B, C, D, or F.
I would probably say a C+. I feel that the initial response to the pandemic was a great one, but unfortunately she's kind of caved towards the pressure of capitalists in the city. I also disagree with some of the draconian response she has towards city workers as well.
Guy, would you like to, really quickly, we'll give you a quick chance to respond, Ms. Misko, in about 10 seconds. Go ahead.
To respond to Bob?
Sure.
Okay. Cantrell has just been a tyrant. She has closed our places of worship. She's closed our schools. She's kept us from each other. I think it's completely wrong.
Okay.
I am against emergency powers, absolutely.
All right. Well, we'll have the mayor's debate later on. This is about District A. We appreciate both of your comments. Let's talk about another big district issue, citywide and in District A. We'll start this one with you, Mr. Morrell, and then we'll go with you, Ms. Misko. You have a minute for this one. Trash pickup is a nightmare in the city of New Orleans, especially for people in parts of Lakeview and other areas in District A. In 1 minute, how would you hold Metro accountable for what's happening right now with trash pickup in parts of District A? You have 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you. And for starters, I wouldn't do what Councilmember Giarrusso did, which is print out all of the emails that he's received in 311 responses and put them in a binder. I do theater, but I think political theater is not necessary during, the issues that we're having right now. I think for starters, we need to re-examine the collections contract. If they're collecting our money, but they're not collecting our trash, that's a big problem. And we need to make sure that our subcontractors are being paid living wages. One of the issues that Metro seems to have is that they're not able to have enough drivers and enough hoppers. But as we've seen earlier in the pandemic, they kind of treat their workers as expendable and replaceable. So if we're going to have city contracts available, we need to make sure that they're protecting workers first and foremost to make sure that our residents are getting the services they're paying for.
Ms. Misko, same question. Trash collection is a nightmare in parts of District A. In 1 minute, what is your plan to help improve that if you're elected?
Well, the Sewer and Water Board is actually a state agency, and our trash is a state contract, essentially. I believe that we should disassociate from the Water and Sewerage Board, and we should take care of our trash issue as a deregulated, non-monopolistic service that the people can pay for directly.
All right. Just really quickly, too. It's a city contract, but the state Sewage and Water Board is a state entity. You are correct with that.
Yes.
Ms. Misko, we're going to start this question with you. You have 30 seconds. The American Rescue Plan and the infrastructure money that's coming to the city of New Orleans. In 30 seconds, what are your biggest priorities for how that bucket of money could and should be spent in New Orleans and District A in 30 seconds?
We should be investing in mental health facilities and also in our police force.
All right. Mr. Morrell, same thing. In 30 seconds, American Rescue Plan money, as well as the federal infrastructure plan that just passed, that money's coming to New Orleans. What are your biggest issues on where that money should go?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I think it needs to be driven by public input rather than ad hoc spending by the mayor's office. I think ARP money should be going directly into the people's hands so that they can feed their kids, pay their bills, and sleep with some sense of relief. And for infrastructure, I think we have to have a heavy focus on green infrastructure and water retention.
All right, we'll start this with you, Mr. Morrell, before we get to closing statements here. Another 30-second answer here, if you will. There's a controversy brewing with COVID-19 and schools that are reopening, a lot of them this week. Some parents don't want to mask their kids. Some people don't want to get vaccinated. What is your stance in 30 seconds on kids going back to school right now when it comes to masks and vaccines?
Well, first and foremost, I think there needs to be a virtual option once again. And I think it's very disconcerting that the school board is not pushing towards having a virtual option available for people. For me personally, I have a 3-year-old and she can wear a mask. So I think that we can enforce dress codes. We can enforce mask mandates as well.
All right, Ms. Misko, same question. What are your thoughts on schools going back and kids having to wear masks or get vaccinated? In 30 seconds, this has been a hot button issue all across the country and really right here in New Orleans.
We have to suspend truancy. We have to allow parents more options. Virtual is definitely something that I would support. I don't think we should be forcing anybody to do anything. That is against our Constitution as self-governing people and as free people. I do not believe in initiating force against my citizens.
All right, 30 seconds, Ms. Misko. If you're elected, to the council later this fall, what is the first thing you do? What is your first course of action for people in District A if you're elected? You have 30 seconds.
The first thing I want to do is eliminate all barriers to opening our businesses, et cetera.
All right, Mr. Morell, same question in 30 seconds. If you are elected later this fall, what is the number one thing you do if you're elected by the people for District A?
Yeah, my number one priority is legislating towards a housing as a right in New Orleans. By stemming the housing crisis, we need to secure right to counsel for tenants facing eviction, and we need to stop the commodification of housing with short-term rentals and doubles to dorms as well.
Yeah, they tried that in San Diego. That failed miserably.
Really quickly, because we are going to have a closing statement, 30 seconds for both of you all. But yes or no, we'll start with you, Mr. Morell, and then go with you, Ms. Misko, on this one. Mr. Morell, yes or no, the council has moved to essentially decriminalize all marijuana, not just use, but arrest in the city of New Orleans. Yes or no, do you support that action?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Misko?
I'm for it.
All right. There you go. You're consistent on that issue. All right. We are going to wrap up here because we are getting close to being out of time. We're going to give you all each a chance to make a closing statement. We are going to give you all 1 minute each. Ms. Misko, we started with you, so this time we're going to start with Mr. Morell and finish with you. Mr. Morell, you have 1 minute to let people know why you feel you're the best candidate for District A come October 9th, Election Day.
Thank you so much. Well, my economic situation is closer to the average District A resident than the average Lakeview resident. Like over half of District A prior to the pandemic, I was housing burdened, paying over 30% of my income on housing and utilities. I've lived paycheck to paycheck. I've been laid off. I don't own the house that I live in. I'm not a landlord or a lawyer. I'm a worker and a solutions-focused leader. Now, for me, community and cooperation define what New Orleans is. It's our culture, our food, even our passion for sports are all driven by our communal relationships. Excuse me. So I want to reorient the way that City Council serves so that communities are treated as primary stakeholders and are proactively engaged and updated rather than the last ones to know. I want a participatory budget so that people can decide where their money goes. Our democracy is being challenged now more than ever. And as your City Council member for District A, I will ensure a strong and direct democracy for all people. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Misko, you have 1 minute to let voters know why you feel you're the best choice for them come October 9th, Election Day.
Well, I'm the only choice that believes in peace and prosperity. I don't use the word fight at all in any of my arguments because that is not the way American people should be operating. I don't advocate violence ever. The other thing is I really want to support the senior citizens in my district who are being horribly taken advantage of because of their age. They are being overtaxed at rates that are far higher than anywhere else in the city. They are being harassed annually with tax increases. They have no idea what's going on with the budget. So I agree with Bob. We need more transparency in our budgets. I actually believe all of our budgets should be approved by the voters themselves.
All right. Amy Misko, Libertarian, we appreciate your time. Bob Morell, Democrat, both seeking the City Council District A seat. That's all the time we have for this hot seat debate. You can see the entire thing beginning Monday online and on all of our social media platforms. Next week, District B, you can hear from the candidates from that district in the city of New Orleans. For now, I'm Travers Macklin. That's all the time that we have for the hot seat.